What is going on, Bucs fans? Evan Wanish here, back at you with yet another video talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And today we are going to be discussing players to watch for the Buccaneers Week 3 preseason finale against the Baltimore Ravens. The game is being played in Tampa, so the Buccaneers get one more preseason showing in Tampa before the regular season begins. And football is almost here, folks. But without further ado, let's get right into this list of players to watch. And Todd Bowles has said, he said after the game against the Jets that everyone will play in this preseason game. He also said it during the week that everyone will play. So that doesn't mean how much, but I am expecting a lot of the Buccaneers' notable players that have not played in this preseason so far to play in this game. So with that being said, let's start off with, I think, the man of the week, I think you could say, and that's Baker Mayfield. I think he is definitely a player to watch, now officially named the starting quarterback for the Buccaneers when the regular season hits. There is no questions anymore. There's probably a good bit of pressure off of Mayfield at this point, I would say. And he can play maybe a little bit more freely, which I know some fans may not like to hear that term per se, but I think you don't want a player playing with a bunch of pressure, I don't think. But I am curious to see how Mayfield looks, especially because he could be with the real first team offense this time around with so many starters expected to play. So really interested to see how Baker Mayfield looks with the wide receivers, with the starting offensive line in front of him, with Rashad White in the backfield as well. So very curious to see how Baker looks now he's been officially named the starter, and like he's the Bucs guy right now. So I think it's important for him to get off on the right foot and gain some positive momentum heading into week 1 against Minnesota. Speaking of the offense, the other two players, I'm going to group these guys together. The other two players on this list are Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, the Buccaneers wide receiver duo. Good, the great wide receiver duo, one of the best in the league. We know about them. I don't have to talk about their past much, but I'm curious to see what they're going to look like in a new offense. Yes, the Bruce Arians offense after Dirk Cutter was let go was a little different, but Dirk Cutter and Bruce Arians offenses were still vertical based. This is a completely different change Dave Canales is bringing to this team. And I am very curious to see how it affects guys like Mike Evans. How does it affect Chris Godwin? What are they going to have those receivers do? Are they going to be some different things wrinkled in there that we've never seen Mike Evans or Chris Godwin do in the Buccaneers offense? And obviously this game in particular won't show you as much as a regular season game will, because very vanilla playbooks and very basic stuff that's happening. You're not game planning for anything. But with that being said, I do think you still may see some wrinkles that the Buccaneers could try to do with both guys. So that's why both of them, I think, would be on my players to watch list. Another one is left tackle Tristan Wirfs, and I said left tackle, and that is one of the reasons he's a player to watch for me. This could be his first action if he plays, which I believe he's going to play at least a little bit. At least he should, I think. If he plays, this will be his first action at left tackle in the NFL. So I think it's important for him to make a good first impression. Everybody knows how great Tristan Wirfs is. I don't think there's any doubt that Tristan Wirfs can be a good or even great left tackle in this league. But I think if he goes out there and he doesn't perform well, and don't get me wrong, during the season, there's going to be some growing pains with Tristan Wirfs at left tackle. But I think if he doesn't perform well, some fans may get really worried about this offensive line. So Tristan Wirfs is a player I'm going to be watching closely just because it's a big switch. Going from right tackle to left tackle is huge. No matter how good you are at right tackle, and he was a darn good right tackle, no matter how good you are, it doesn't really matter. It's basically everything's switched, right? Everything is switched when you move over to a completely different side, and it's a different ball game. So I'm curious to see how Tristan Wirfs performs being on the left side for the first time in his NFL career. And I have no doubts he'll eventually become a great left tackle if he sticks there, but there may be some bumps in the road. And I think if it doesn't look pretty at times, I don't think it's necessarily time to panic, but I do think he is an important player to keep an eye on Saturday night. The final one is a defensive player, and it is Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Now, I've mentioned Joe Tryon-Shoyinka playing in a critical year here, a very critical year. He's entering year three. And most of the time, that's when your cornerbacks, your pass rushers, that's when like you sort of really get judged. After your year three, you're gonna know whether the pick was a hit or a miss, pretty much. And I think that's with most rookies, honestly. If they're not showing you much by year three, if you still have questions after year three, you got a problem. And that's where Joe Tryon finds himself right now. Back-to-back years with 4 sacks. Rookie year, getting 4 sacks in a rotational role, that's good. Last year was a disappointment, though. So he needs to be much better this year. And another important reason is this coming offseason, the 2024 offseason, the Buccaneers have to decide on his fifth-year option before his fifth year even starts, before his fourth year even starts. So it is a critical year for not only the Buccaneers to get the most out of Joe Tryon, but also for Joe Tryon to have a potential future in Tampa Bay. This could really impact his future here. So he's a guy who, after not seeing him much at all this preseason, I actually don't think you've seen him at all. I'm very curious to see. He's entering such a critical year. And if he can find a lot of success, I think it could be a game changer for this Buccaneer defense, especially with guys like Shaq Barrett coming off a major injury, Anthony Nelson being more of a rotational piece. And then obviously you have rookie Yaya Diaby there. You don't want to be putting too much eggs in one basket with a rookie per se. So I think it's very important for Joe Tryon to step up this season and produce. Does he need 14, 15 sacks? No, I don't think he does. Now, that may be some people's expectations. That's those people's expectations. I can't change their expectations of that. But I would think that, he has 8 career sacks. I would think this season the goal should be to get 8 sacks alone in this season. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Joe Tryon. Hopefully, he can perform well and be a bright spot for the Buccaneers and make that draft pick look like it was worth being made. So let me know who you guys are going to be keeping an eye on this Saturday night against the Baltimore Ravens in the preseason finale. Please let me know if you agree with my list or if you have some other people that you're going to be keeping an eye on here. Let me know why. Is it going to be starters like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, or is it going to be guys that maybe could be battling for final spots on the roster? Let me know. I know there's a lot of variance in the preseason, and for a lot of these guys, this is going to be their last shot to prove what they got. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and talk soon.